So that's that for that story. Do you want to tell us, or do you want me to go into the Star Wars Galaxy stuff too?
I can. It might, let me
Yeah,
tell a
yeah.
little bit about my experience since since it's WoW related. Yeah, kind of like I was very similar to kind of what you said. You know, like I played vanilla with a group of friends. We had kind of this small group of friends. You know, this small friendly guild. There was like four of us kind of as a core, and then we'd kind of pick up a fifth person to do whatever content. And we we all kind of looked at Molten Core, like, yeah, and some of my friends were like EverQuest raiders, and they looked at Molten Core and they were like, no, thank you. I know, like, they knew what it was like to kind of like do a planes raid in EverQuest, and herd the cats and do all this stuff, and just like they just never, they really didn't have much interest in that again.
Mm-hmm.
And so like we would kind of do like just whatever whatever seemed fun at the time, really. um,
Do not damage it further. Use the synthesis device.
um, and so yeah, so basically we then we I stopped playing for a bit. We came back in Burning Crusade, and we kind of got approached by this mid-tier guild, who I guess they saw us around or whatnot. And they're like, hey, we're kind of looking for more people.
Is right for synthesis. Tame this creature so you may perfect.
And so they wanted to um,
Still working on it. Continue to defend.
they basically wanted to basically they kind of wanted to uh,
Recruit.
yeah, recruit. Sorry, they wanted to recruit us into to the rating, and they need like a group of people. And I mean, this is basically when we were the what we were just talking about. We were doing the 10-man raid in Karazhan.
Mm-hmm.
And so like this is like a lot different than like the big planes raids from EverQuest. This felt like it was kind of a smaller. It was a little it was definitely not as hardcore of a raiding thing. So it kind of eased us into it. And we were essentially kind of a I mentioned this last week. We were essentially a feeder guild, where we would kind of take people, we would get them geared up, we would get them their unlocks, and then they would basically kind of abandon us and go
Go to greener pastures.
or go go to the more hardcore guild that would not basically we're not the ones who would basically do this for them. They didn't the hardcore guilds didn't want to gear people up, didn't want to get them their unlocks.
They wanted people ready to go.
Right.
Which,
And so
like, the casual guild I was in was basically like that too.
right. And so so basically kind of the long and short of it was that we essentially we never really got into much of the harder content. We were always a little bit behind because we'd take on something new, we'd do a lot of the old content, get them there, because the unlock process is very complicated. In Burning Crusade, you had to do A to B to do B to run C to run D to run E, and each of these things, like, you had to kind of do this quest that required you to often go off in this little side thing, which is why most of the hardcore guilds didn't want to do it, because they didn't want to waste time going and doing these side things in areas they already had on basically had on farm. And so we did eventually progress, but we were like pretty far behind the curve though, and so we were always kind of playing catch up. And then when Wrath of the Lich King came around, like this guild decided, okay, we're gonna be like hardcore though, man. We're gonna be like the best. And so like they were like, everybody rush through the content as fast as possible to get up and get up to and do raiding. Did you want to do the next sortie or?
Oh, that's right. We're doing sorties. Shit, my bad. I zoned out.
And so like my memories of Wrath of the Lich King were basically twofold. The first one being super disappointed because they started nerfing Feral Druid. Because during the raid, like I had this really great, what I thought was a really great build. There was a super flexible feral build where I could tank. I was never going to be a main tank. I was never going to be top of the DPS meters, but I could hang and do pretty well at either one. I could basically do off tanking, or I could do or I did like basically kind of usually second or third place DPS. And I love that spec, but like in Wrath of the Lich King, they really nerfed that, and then they introduced, of course, Death Knights,
The enemy while
which was a class that basically could do that.
needed supplies.
But they ended up reverting it later too.
Right. But I mean, it definitely left me a little salty though.
Mhm.
That if I wanted to keep on doing what I was doing before, I had to play this completely new class, which of course everybody else and their sister wanted to play because.
It was the new class.
Right, exactly.
The life support capsule to the
I went from Feral to Boomkin.
I am detecting a synthesis target.
Boomkin and Wrath was not fun.
Yeah, no, it was definitely just like not my bag at all. And so like and I was rushing through the content to try to get the high level. I really didn't play ult much, so it really just kind of burnt me out, honestly, on the whole thing. And like that was the last of the major expansions I played, to be honest, was
Yeah.
Wrath, because it just left such a sour taste in my mouth. So a little bit, I did do a little bit of, or try to do a little bit of raiding in 14. That was kind of an abortive process though. Because I was kind of with this like friend of mine who had a real anger problem, unfortunately.
Oh.
And so we were trying to kind of recruit people for a stag, but like she was always just perpetually angry about something, and
Right.
it was just super frustrating trying to kind of organize anything with her, because she would just cop a toot about every single thing. Even like one time we were trying to recruit, and she was just like fuming. I'm like, oh, like because I'm like, well, I kind of want to learn how to recruit for this thing, so let's put up you put up a party finder, you advertise people, hey, we're looking for a static, we want to do this type of content. I'm like, I just want to hang around and kind of see what you do. Oh, but like, she was just too pissed off even for that. Like it was just kind of a bad scene.
Oh my goodness.
Well, I mean, we did try to do a little bit of raiding, but like one of the problems we ran into was, like a friend of a friend was in there, and he was just absolutely positively not pulling his weight.
Hmm.
And it was one of those things that I kind of wanted to talk to people, talk to him and say, okay, well, we kind of need you to kind of pull your weight. We need you to learn, learn to play your class and whatnot.
Oh,
And
those kind of issues. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he was doing if he would have been up on the boss, auto attacking with his mage weapon, he probably would have been doing more damage.
Was he summoning or?
He was
Black
a
mage?
black mage.
Ooh. For
Yeah.
Realm Reborn.
No, this is in Heaven's Ward.
Oh yeah, that was a bad class for him to be.
Yeah,
learn.
and so I mean, and so like, but this kind of came. So what happened though is, like I said, it was a friend of a friend, and so my friend got kind of cranky at me about calling this guy out, and she's like, well, I thought we were supposed to be kind of a casual group. I'm like, there's a difference between casual and like not putting in effort. like nobody here wants to basically kind of like if he's going to be the difference between us succeeding and failing, like he needs to kind of pull his weight here. And I'm like, this isn't a slam against him. This is just like, hey, you need to perform better in order to kind of like, for everybody to have fun here. And that was like really one of the kind of the terrible experiences, like, I think like, kind of goes back to kind of an idea of, kind of what you were talking about with your WoW experiences. Like everybody kind of needs to be on the same page about things.
Mhm.
Like, I'm actually one of those people that I would love to be able to basically kind of sit down and learn the mechanics of the raid, not from a YouTube video, but from actually doing it.
Right.
The problem is, but the problem is though, like if you have everybody else that just wants to get through the content because they want the shinies, because they want to get, they want the cool weapon or glamour or whatnot, they're not gonna have the patience for that bullshit.
Right. Yeah, like with my casual group, the thing I would tell them is that they didn't want to learn through videos, because like I'm not a big fan of the video learning too. That's just how it's done, you know.
Right. That's efficient.
Yeah. I would tell them, go do it. Go do it on a week that we're not doing it. Go do it by yourself. Go pug for a group.
Right.
Learn it for yourself, then come back with that knowledge and apply it for us.
Right.
So, but I want to learn it with my friends in the group. I'm like, fine, take them with you. Oh, but that's not our group. And I'm like,
not everybody wants to do this exact thing that you want to do. Like, yeah.
Like I would do everything I could to compromise, but if it wasn't exactly the way they wanted it to be done, then
Right.
that wasn't good enough. And I'm like, well, sorry, you're not in our group anymore.
Right. Yeah. Again, like, I think the important part is like making sure everybody kind of has the same, and I think that's one of the kind of the failures of that group was that, maybe wasn't communicated very clearly that what we meant by casual. Casual doesn't mean, we're wasting everybody's time to, because somebody doesn't want to learn, because somebody may not know the class. Casual meant, we're not going to be, we're going to be doing, content's a little behind the times.
That's easier at this point.
Right.
Yeah, like sorry, go ahead and finish.
No, I mean, and so basically, kind of like it's like, but that's kind of one of the sticky parts, from a player perspective. Like, what happens when you have a friend that isn't pulling their weight?
Right, it's just messy. Yeah, like I hate.